We are live. Welcome, as always, for the first time this week, because we didn't have a college pod the other day. I forgot. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, officially sponsored by the Detroit Lions. We are the official Detroit Lions podcast, actually. Fun fact. Daniel Lisenby is going to be your host this afternoon, as he is the Detroit Lion. Fun fact, he is actually the Detroit Lion. The organization is named after him. Mr. Lion, how are you doing today?
Good man. It's a pleasure to be here to bestow my great presence onto this podcast.
Hmm.
Leave my original Detroit Lion post to come on to
Hmm.
Zoom here and just talk football.
It's the first time ever that the Detroit Lion has been on a podcast. Well, other than all the other ones we had him on for. So it's quite the honor to have you today, sir, as always. We've also got Rob Jerkman. So Rob, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm still spinning on the coaching carousel right now.
That's right.
The
That's
ride
right.
has yet to stop.
We're down to two. We're down to two. We'll see where it lands. We'll see where it lands. What you drinking there though?
Oh, just a little silver bullet, little Coors Light.
There you go. There you go. We love it. We love it. Well, we've got a fun episode today where we break down what was three fun divisional round games and one not so fun. It was fun for a half though. Then, like Rob alluded to there, we're gonna hop on the coaching carousel a little bit. There's been quite a few landings recently, actually. In the past, what, 2 days, there's been four hires made. So it's
Hmm.
starting to pick up steam a little bit. So that's been exciting to see. Then we're gonna get into, as always, the conference championship picks, and we're really gonna take off from there. But before we start, I do want to lead, of course, with the fact that Daniel Lisenby has taken a commanding lead in the
Hmm.
playoff picks. 7-3 this past week after I tied him in the wild card round. It really fell off. The wheels fell off for me last week. I won't lie. I thought the Texans would do me better than that.
Hmm.
Um, so that was embarrassing. But Daniel finally in the game, and he's dominating. So next season will be fun once he's in the bracket or in the records for the full season. But season series, I'm still up +3 on Rob. So the best he can do is a tie,
So you're
but
telling me there's a chance.
there's a chance. There's a chance that this whole season can end in a freaking tie. Which how un-American is that?
Yeah,
Um,
baby.
but that's all right.
It's
That's all
football,
right.
dog. It's NFL. It's very
There are
American.
there are ties, I guess, in the NFL, as much as we all hate to admit it. But let's hop right into this past weekend's games. And I don't know, Mr. Detroit Lion. Do you wanna I know we'll be going
Give him
out of
the
order like we
floor.
did
Give him the
last week, but
floor.
do you wanna take the lead on what is now
Give
the
him the
second
floor.
Detroit Lion playoff win of your lifetime?
Oh,
It sounds so
still gotta
sad
take
to
that
hear,
shit.
man.
Still gotta take that shot.
You know what though? I want to put this on record though. We have more playoff wins in the last 5 years than the Seattle Chicken Butts do, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and plenty of other franchises out there. So we're not the same
Quite a
scope.
few, actually. Quite a few.
Mm.
Not the Bengals, but quite a few.
You have more playoff wins in the last year than all but three other teams.
Yeah, dude. We're riding the train, man. City of
It's
Detroit.
actually, you've got more playoff wins in the past 2 weeks than every team other than the Chiefs.
Oh, it's true.
So, congratulations.
Then we're getting a Lions Chiefs Super Bowl week one rematch.
Hmm.
We should.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's what I want to see. I want to see Lions Chiefs, man.
That was
yeah,
a fun one.
perfect bookend. Yeah, that was a good game to start the season too. Perfect bookend to the season. A Lions Chiefs versus and Lions Chiefs. Be a fun one.
It will be.
I'd
Wasn't there
support
some
that.
drama at the end? What was it like? There was like a penalty drama. What
No,
was it?
Darius Tony just dropped a pass on their final drive.
Oh yeah, yep. It was
Mhm.
drops. That's what the
And that
drama
was also
was.
the game where Jawan Taylor was false starting every single
Yeah.
play, and
Yep.
they
Yep.
didn't call it once until the very last drive, and then they made a big deal about it.
That and offsides too, or illegal
Hmm.
formation, I think. Yeah, because he was,
Hmm.
I mean, and he was pretty clearly way back though. He was
Hmm.
pretty clearly false. They totally gaslit us into a lot of like like Lane Johnson actually does do it correctly, but they were gaslighting us about Jawan Taylor. Like, no, he's just like Lane Johnson. And then
Yeah,
you watch the
every
slow
guy
mo,
does it.
and then you watch the slow mo. It's like, no, this guy's going early.
Yeah.
And I do remember though, back when I played high school ball and I was an offensive lineman and we were pulling, our coaches like were like, cheat back as far as you can until they call it. So like I, me and the it was like a GT counter.
Hmm.
When me and the tackle were like ridiculously far back and they still wouldn't count it or call it against it. It was pretty funny. We looked more like we were like tight ends than linemen.
There you go. There you go. So, like I said, I think that's Super Bowl. All three of us are probably rooting for.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
get to that later. I'll get to that later. But go ahead, talk about the Buccaneers, Daniel. Talk about this game.
Yeah, we're starting with the Lions. All right,
Yeah,
man.
we're starting with the lines. We're starting out of order.
Dude, I gotta say, man, the vibe in Detroit right now is immaculate. Everyone's behind the team. Ford Field's getting loud. It's a good time, man. Like, I think a
Hmm.
big thing too that some fans might not really understand as much is when you have a team in your community that so many people follow, and they've been so bad for the last 30, like the last 30 years, over 30 years now. To see the team not only win a playoff game, but also win the division, have who is now the NFL Executive of the Year, Brad Holmes. Congratulations to him.
Hmm.
The NFC Coach of the Year, Dan Campbell. First team All Pro, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Penei Sewell is on that team as well. So you have all these hype moments. You have like all this stuff coming together, and it's such a big thing for a lot of the fans who have only known like so many fans that are our age that are Lions fans. They have only known disappointment. We've known 0-16. We've known getting blown out in playoff games with in the Matthew Stafford era. We've known Calvin Johnson retiring early, just like Barry did, and getting shafted by the franchise. We've known Matt Patricia. Enough said about that. Yeah, so it's honestly it's kind of cathartic in a way to see the Lions play as well as they have been and kind of establish themselves in that upper echelon of teams, which I never thought I would see in my lifetime. I thought the best I was ever going to get, maybe a 10-win season, kind of like the Stafford era, 10-win season, really good on one side of the ball maybe, and then just losing in the playoffs. But no, this is a pretty damn good year, and the fact that I can say my Detroit Lions are in an NFC Championship game is insane, boys.
Hmm.
This is like
Hmm.
monumental stuff for me.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
100%, man. It's a season for the books for sure.
Hmm.
As far as the game itself against Tampa Bay, it was close, guys. It was a close one. I mean, we had the lead. It was either tied or we had the lead the whole time. So the Bucks were always chasing it, which I think helped us a little bit. Amon Ra with the touchdown catch to make it 31-17. Kind of sealed the game there. I know Baker drove down the field to get another touchdown there. They failed the 2-point conversion. End of the game, you guys got to hear the Dan Miller call when Derek Barnes
Hmm.
gets that interception to seal the game. It's just it's amazing stuff, guys. Derek
What are
Barnes
your th
interception.
What are your
Dan,
thoughts on Jared Goff kneeling too early, but Todd Bowles not calling timeout, so it didn't matter?
I wasn't paying attention to that, man.
That's a classic Jared Goof moment.
Yeah. But then it was like Todd Bowles in the press conference is like, oh, we didn't want to delay the inevitable. It's the playoffs. You delay the inevitable all you possibly
Well, then it's
can.
not, and then it's not Jared Goff's fault. Then Todd Bowles probably looked over at Dan Campbell and he was like, "Yeah, we're conceding the game."
That's fair. But he didn't say that. If he said, hey, I made eye contact with Dan Campbell and we had an unspoken agreement to just let this game end, that'd be one thing. But Todd Bowles said in his press conference, we're delaying the inevitable. The playoffs is all about delaying the inevitable. That's the whole point of it.
Have you ever seen a victory formation fumble though?
No, I haven't, but they still had a timeout. They could have called timeout and made the Lions kick a field goal.
Okay. Okay.
And it was Michael Badgley, who has not great on 50 plus yard field goals.
Hey man, he nailed a 54-yarder against the Rams, and he's been pretty good kicking for us the last few weeks. So you know what, man? even if they do take that timeout, he probably makes that field goal, and we're up by 11 points anyway, and it's game over. And Baker Mayfield has to go back out there for one more play for no reason.
Then
So you
you
know
take a
what?
knee. Then you take a knee.
So you know what, man? I think I'm on Todd Bowles' side. I think he did the right thing by just letting the Lions win. Just let us
If
win the game.
if it was week 4, I would agree with you. But come on, man, it's the playoffs. It's all about delaying the
Dude, if
inevitable.
my team benefits, I don't give a shit.
I know, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny.
Like we already know Todd Bowles is a crap coach and he lost his OC. So
That's true.
Tampa Bay
Which
is
we'll talk about later.
we're gonna talk about
Hmm.
that later. Yeah, he lost his OC. He's got a bunch of free agents going into the summer. I don't
Hmm.
know how good Tampa Bay is going to be next year. Like this, they kind of overachieved this season already.
Absolutely. They got lucky that they even made the playoffs, man.
Hmm. And they got a matchup with freaking Philly, who was barely a NFL team towards the end of the stretch there. So, yeah,
UFL
they were
baby.
lucky.
I was watching. I missed the first half of the game, but I watched the second half with my dad. And like in the last couple of drives, he kept going, "Baker's due for a pick. Baker's due for a pick," and it came true at the end.
Very
You
end
know
it
what's kind
did.
of strange? I think he threw his first pick on his first drive and then his second pick on his last drive of the game.
Hmm.
CJ Gardner Johnson was talking a bunch of shit to Baker before the game, and of course he's the one that gets the first pick on Baker. It was like a
Hmm.
third. It was like a third and long, and Baker has a pass tipped, and Gardner Johnson's able to get the ball. And he like runs it out of bounds, and he just starts taunting Baker. And I'm surprised the rest didn't throw a flag for that. Like he and Kirby
Mm.
Joseph were taunting Baker pretty hard after that play.
How excited do you think CJ Gardner Johnson is to be playing the Niners this weekend after all the shit they talked in the offseason?
Oh
That
yeah,
boy's
him
gonna
and
come out
Debo.
fired up. Him and Devo, yeah.
Dude.
That boy's gonna be fired up.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I can't wait, dude. It's that's gonna be a fun game. But to kind of close this Bucks Lions game, though, I thought the Bucks competed pretty well. I think though the Lions, I think they made it a little too close to points. But considering the Bucks never took the lead at any point in the game, it's safe to say that they were kind of chasing the whole time. The Lions were kind of able to they were kind of able to play their game a little bit more. And
Hmm.
I trust the offense enough that I know they'll have a few good drives where they'll stall out, but they're going to have a few really good drives where they'll go down the field, get a score. Before you know it, they got 30 points. Doesn't even feel like it because they either have really long drives or, hey, maybe they get some quick plays. So that's why I don't want Ben Johnson to leave, guys. He's a great OC. He's the best OC that I've seen. And that's coming from a team that has had good offenses in my lifetime. But Ben Johnson is the best OC we've had. So I hope he doesn't go to any teams that are looking for coaches, right, Rob?
He's gonna go to one.
I,
Or
I
Oh
think
yeah,
I think
at least I
Seattle.
say that as if he could go to two.
he's very clearly going to Washington. Um, shoot, what was I saying? Dang it. Well, oh yeah, yeah. That fourth and goal play call. Frank Ragnow stoning Vita Vea. That was pretty impressive. Hurt Frank Ragnow,
Frank
but
Ragnar is an animal, man. He's
but
Is he
giving
playing? Do you
it to
think he's
your
gonna play on Sunday?
RB3 is you can't be doing that, Dan. You got to give that to Montgomery or Gibbs. You can't give that to RB3.
dude. That's how Dan Campbell plays, man. Craig Reynolds he's been a big part of our culture like ever since 2021 when he was on the team. Like he went from our practice squad to a consistent RB3 now. Yeah, he's probably gonna get plays run for him. Craig
You
Reynolds
shouldn't
also,
you shouldn't give him fourth and goal that the game's depending on though.
hey, but hear me out. Craig Reynolds had that iconic block on one of the Bucks receivers when we played them in the regular season for the Amon Ra catch and run for the touchdown. Craig Reynolds just that last block. The Lions fans were celebrating that. Coaches were, giving him an ovation for that play. Like he's a respected guy on the team, man. And it's Dan Campbell. He's gonna run those
I
punches.
still think that was a very poor tactical decision when you have Montgomery or Gibbs there.
You know what I think would be a great tactical decision though? That the Seahawks hire Aaron Glenn to be their head coach. That would be a
We'll get to that. We'll
fantastic.
get to that.
We'll get to that. Wait, one more thing on the Lions, boys. Daniel, do you happen to know what Dan Campbell's middle name is?
I don't.
Would you believe me if I told you his full name was Daniel Lisenby Campbell?
No, stop it.
Oh,
Shut up.
what are you talking about? Of course.
You inspect elemented Wikipedia. Stop it.
I didn't even do that. I was just bullshitting you. I was trying to see
Yeah.
if you would believe me. I didn't think you would, but I just want to give it a shot. No, his middle name's actually Allen. Full name Daniel Allen Campbell.
Mm.
Yeah, good for him,
Uh-oh.
man.
DC D his initials spell out Dak.
Dak.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
fuck.
No.
We're done.
You should have said you
Over.
should have put that out there in the world, man. You messed up.
Whoops. But anyways, moving on to we'll get back to chronological order here. Talk Texans Ravens, the least interesting remaining game here. The
Texans
first
were in
half
it.
was fun. They were playing hard. They didn't score an offensive touchdown, which is a problem. Bobby Slovic might have cost himself a head coach job with this one because it was rough. I mean, funny they were getting into Ravens territory, and then like they'd get to like the 40 or something, and then they'd have like a dumb penalty or a sack,
Hmm.
or they
Hmm.
like at the end an intentional grounding on the one, or they missed field goal.
I
They didn't
think
have an
the
offensive.
lack of talent on that team really caught up to them, especially with
Mhm.
weapons and O
Oh
line.
yeah, especially Noah Brown and Tank Dell being out killed them.
Oh
Their O
yeah.
line was horrible. They were banged up. I mean, their O line at full strength wouldn't be bad if they had Titus Howard out there, but they had George Fan out there, and it looked like they had George Fan out there.
And that's a
Um,
really good front too. It's a
mhm,
really good front. That they've eaten everybody's lunch all season. They even beat the Niners lunch.
mhm. So it's
Well, I
tough.
think
It's
you.
tough when you
I
don't
think
have
you.
the firepower or the experience, quite frankly. Because I mean, a team like when we'll get to this, the Chiefs later, they've got experience in this setting. They play their best ball in January. The
It's just that
Texans, they
yeah,
haven't
no,
been in the spot.
it's a learning moment. This is about where rookie quarterbacks usually fizzle out. Russell Wilson, his
Mhm,
rookie year, was a bad icing the kicker away from winning in this round, but it's a lot of rookies fizzle out here. It's
mhm,
your first time in the playoffs. It's tough, a road game, and
mhm,
but the defensive turnaround for the Texans from last year to this year with mostly the same pieces is just
mhm.
absurd. It's
No,
there's
the first
they
half, the
fly
Texans
around.
defense played fantastic. They
Oh
were
yeah.
awesome in the first half. Second half, obviously problems there, but I think first half basically played a perfect game on offense. Um, I mean, they were shooting themselves in the foot so much. They were lucky it
Hmm.
was
A lot
10-10
of
at
bad
halftime.
sacks.
A
Hmm.
lot of bad snacks. I mean, a lot of bad sacks, penalties. Um, they could have, I mean, early on, before the second half was the second half, I was saying they could win. They
Oh
could have
yeah.
won that game. They
It
could have been
definitely
winning that game handily at halftime, but they weren't taking advantage. And after halftime, the Ravens came out with a great adjustment, great game plan.
that
Basically able to do
defensive
whatever they
system
wanted on offense.
is
Yeah.
stymieing top quarterbacks in NFL and college. It's really tough to figure out
Hmm.
right now.
Well, all but one by the
Hey,
name
Rob,
of.
I had a thought.
Yeah, what's up?
I think you and I called this game verbatim for Ravens Texans. I think we both said it was going to be close in
Hmm.
the first half, and then the Ravens would just take over in the second half.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep, you guys called it. You guys both beat me on this one. So I went 0 for 4 this week. So I you guys
Rough
beat
one.
me on everything. Rough week. Rough week for sure. Um, let's see. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, quick. There's only one actually no, two technically. The Ravens struggled with Matt Stafford and funny enough struggled with Deshaun Watson. And they
Mm,
actually, now that I think about it, they also struggled a little bit with Joe Burrow in the second game when he was hurt, or no, when he got hurt in the second quarter. He looked like he was on pace for a big game before he got hurt. Um, oh well, right? Injuries happen. But anyways, they've had their moments where, I don't think they're super talented at the cornerback spot, and
hmm.
some teams have been able to hurt them with that. We'll see if the Chiefs are. The Texans were not though. Texans were not. So, but yeah, up front, that front seven and that safety. I mean, there's probably not a better safety duo in the league than Kyle
What are
Hamilton
you
and Miles
talking about?
Sanders.
You got Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams out there. Ugh.
It's disrespectful to actually good safety in Julian Love.
He actually until like the last three games of the season, he sucked. He was not
Yeah.
good. Because guess what? They played him more as a nickel.
That's why they call him December Julian. December Love. Yeah, December Love. There you go. But yeah, I mean, Ravens came. I mean, they look good, and they're going to probably get Andrews and Humphrey back this week by the sounds of it. So that definitely helps them. Um, yeah.
That makes them into a machine again.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny thing, I don't know if actually having marking. I mean, they didn't, other than the week 17 game or week 18 game where they didn't have anyone, like the offense wasn't any better with Mark Andrews than it was with Isaiah Likely. So I actually don't know if that's too much of a factor. I do think having Marlon out there at corner helps though,
I
because
think I
right
think
now their corner
having
one's Marlon's like Brandon Stevens, which ain't great.
I think it definitely helps having your safety blanket out there though.
Oh yeah, but I just think Isaiah Likely stood in so well in that spot that it hasn't hurt them as much as people probably thought it
Okay,
would.
okay. That's fair. All right, let's get
Uh,
into
the Noble
ugh
franchise.
Noble French. Yeah, I guess Niners are kind of not. I hate them though. Hate them.
The Green Bay Packers are the Noble
No,
franchise sake.
I know. Oh, I know. But like we don't have two like we did for the wild card
Oh,
round.
true. What would the Niners be? What's something we could say the Niners are? If the Cowboys are the corrupt franchise, the Packers are the Noble franchise, the Chiefs are Goodell's franchise. The Lions are America's franchise.
Yep.
What else? We're probably missing a few. Oh wait, the Steelers are God's franchise.
It's a good one. That is
That's
kind
what they
of
that's what those fans tell me. So,
that is kind of true though. If you think about it, they can have the worst teams and they'll still win 10 games.
um, the Bills are the cursed franchise. There's a lot of franchises like
Yeah,
that, but the
yeah.
Bills have taken on that title recently
Instead of
Losing four Super Bowls in a row, man, that's pretty cursed.
and not being able to make it past the divisional round,
yeah.
no matter what now.
Keeping losing to the Chiefs too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
I give the
I think
Niners.
they gotta fire Sean McDermott, man. They gotta fire him.
Honestly, especially with Mike Vrabel on the table still, and it doesn't look like he's going to Seattle or Washington. You get an immediate upgrade in there,
I think
but
they
they're
gotta
not going to
try
do it.
and get. I think I've been saying it for a while. They need to trade for Dable.
They do McDermott for Dable swap. I
Yeah,
think, yeah, they can
or at
still do
least
that.
I don't know if they'd want to swap, but at least get Dable some way.
I mean, the Giants might want to swap,
Wouldn't it just be
but
apropos if McDermott went to a New York team?
New Jersey.
oh God,
Exactly. Imagine that.
even worse if he was running the New York Jets.
Yeah, right. God,
The
no.
leader of the New York Jets, Sean McDermott.
Oh boy, that's not gonna go
Oh,
over.
I forgot about that. Oh, I was trying to remember what the reference was. Yeah, that was a bad one. Oh gosh.
Yeah, he can never go to a New York team or
No,
sorry, New Jersey
yeah.
team. But anyways, getting into this
Oh
actual game
man.
here, Jordan Love almost did something really cool, which
He
was to
did do
give
something really cool.
well, he did at the end if you weren't rooting for the
My
Packers.
favorite takeaway for this game is all the memes that were like, "Wow, Jordan Love is Brett Favre." Because that interception at the end was literally a Favre play.
It was literally the exact
Yeah.
same play as the one he
The
had when he was with
Saints.
the Vikings. Yeah,
Yeah,
against the Saints. Yeah,
literally. It was like, oh my God.
throwing
Except that one
across
was
your
in the, I think
body.
that one was in the NFC
It was
Championship
in the
game.
NFC Championship in overtime
Yeah,
when they were
that
already in field goal range to win. That was bad by far. That wasn't quite as high stakes. Although it was first and 10 with 50 seconds left and they had timeouts. It wasn't like they were in a rush.
hmm Yeah, no, I
So
th they had
it
plenty
was
of
dumb.
time. They
It
had
was
plenty of
dumb.
time. But it was very funny. For all the memes are like, oh
Oh,
my God, it's
it was
Brett Favre.
hilarious. It was
I saw like one of
hilarious.
those like morph memes of it had Jordan Love and then it morphed him into uh Brett Favre.
But it's a shame too, because he played a pretty good game. I mean, he
Do
had
you know?
the two picks were
Yeah.
really dumb, but outside of that, he played a good game.
You know who played really good? Who I
Who's
think
that?
played really good? Packers defense. They played They until like right at the end, they had a really good game.
They had a good playoff run
They
there.
did.
And Joe Barry still got fired.
I know. I was like, I don't know if he deserves getting fired now because he had a good playoff run.
I
Their
would say Joe
defense.
Barry should have still gotten fired, and the reason is the reason the Packers defense can still look good is because they really should be a top 5 to top 10 unit.
Mm,
Really, really good players on that defense. It's just Joe
Mhm.
Barry pushes a really talented defense down to like below middle of the pack, which is the
Mhm.
concern that Packers fans have had. Which is what I kind of realized too. I was kind of confused at first, and then I realized, wait, they actually have like a lot of elite players on all
they
levels,
do.
but they're still kind of mid, and you can play Joe Barry for that. So if they get a good DC, man, they're gonna be dangerous on defense, man.
Mm.
Who's the DC that we were talking about earlier that's available?
Is Jiro Vero?
Oh, Evero. Oh, or
You
is
know
it
who
Evero?
I genuinely think
Him
would
in
be a
Green
good
Bay would be
fit.
fun.
You are a hater on him. I think Brandon Staley would be a really good fit in Green Bay's defense. You're a hater, of Brandon Staley. He's a really good DC. He's a terrible head coach. He's a really good DC.
I think he's such a bad. But the thing is, he called the defensive plays in LA, and their defense was horrible.
His personnel was pretty bad.
It was, don't get me wrong, which we'll talk about what Harbaugh's got a little bit. A lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, Harbaugh's going to walk in and make the Chargers a playoff team." It's going to be a 2-year rebuild, I think. But we'll talk about that when we get there. You're right though. The
Packers
personnel.
totally blew it. Packers totally blew it.
Oh, totally blew it. Totally. But they had this one in the bag. They
They
had this one.
did.
They were gonna win. They were up
Brock Purdy looked
7.
bad. Brock Purdy.
Rick Purdy. He did look bad.
You know what's kind of funny is you keep dissing on Brock Purdy. Watch him go win a ring now, just to
I
see.
will be so pissed. I will
Well, he
be
wouldn't be
very disappointed.
surprised. He's the second favorite right now. It's him and
Ugh,
Lamar.
I would be so pissed.
Yeah.
I was kind of rooting for Green Bay to win this game just because if Green Bay wins, Detroit would have still won, right? And we get a home
Mhm.
game for the NFC Championship.
NFC Championship
And a
in
revenge
Detroit would have
game
been
from the
awesome.
Thanksgiving. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And it would be between Packers and Lions. He had one last chance against them. Seems
Hmm.
like Jordan Love kind of has your number though.
We split with them this past year. I don't think he has our number yet.
I think Jordan Love has your number.
Dude, he lost to us 34 to 20 at Lambeau. Packers fans left that game midway through the fourth quarter. You can
Didn't you guys get didn't he mop the floor with you guys on Thanksgiving?
I think he does have your guys' number.
we play 2 games a year with those bros. Whatever. Stop.
I think he's just getting back at you for the Seattle sea chicken jokes from earlier. Or the Aaron Glenn jokes too.
Aaron Glenn. I have said he would be a decent head coach. He just sucks as a DC.
Hmm.
No.
Not so much
Reverse Jim Schwartz.
Reverse Jim Schwartz. Yeah.
James.
Let's see. Anything else from Green Bay, San Francisco, honestly? I can't
I
think of
got
it.
one more quick thought. Speaking of Jim
Yeah.
Schwartz, since Jim Harbaugh's back, Jim Schwartz needs to go be a head coach now, and they can recreate the handshake.
Oh
Jim
yeah.
Schwartz needs to go be the DC in LA. That'd be hilarious.
Harbaugh or Pete
Oh,
needs to
God.
get into the AFC West somehow.
Oh, true. It needs to be like the well, you know who's in the AFC West now is Marvin Lewis, is special advisor
Mhm.
for Antonio Pierce. So
He could
he's
probably
there.
get in there.
Yeah.
He could go be with the Broncos.
Yeah, honestly. The
See, this is the strategy that the Broncos should do to get Russ to take a pay cut. It's like bring in everyone who hates him. So like Richard Sherman, DB coach, and like talk to you suck, you threw another pick in practice, and like Pete Carroll is like special defensive advisor, uh, play future music everywhere.
that won't make him take a pay cut. That'll make him demand a trade. Again,
He'd have to take a pay cut to get a trade.
that is true. That is true. Um Russ is done in LA though. Or not in LA, in Denver though. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Where do you think Russ plays next weekend? Let's take bets.
Next weekend, probably
Or
nowhere.
not next weekend, next season. Next
Gotcha.
season. That's what I actually, yeah, no. What public park is he going to be throwing the ball with his kids at next weekend?
That's a fun one. That's an interesting one.
Look up all the parks in the Denver area.
Yeah, just the one nearest his home. No, what team does he play for next season? I have my answer.
Let's see. I have my answer as well.
I got an answer too.
All right. Leave with Daniel.
All right. I think he's going back to the Seahawks. Just watch. He's gonna go back, and all your fans are gonna eat your words about all the shit talk you've given.
I didn't. Hey, I would gladly take him back, and I was one of the ones defending him too.
You
Okay,
do have
good.
his Action
Good,
Green
good, good.
jersey. You do have his Action Green
I was
jersey,
one
so it
that
makes
was a
sense.
lot more nuanced than everyone else at the time.
Good, good, good.
Um, I think he will go to Washington Commanders.
I
Go back
like
home.
that. But why would the Commanders could just draft a quarterback at two?
I don't know. Maybe they don't.
That's true. They can pair him with Marvin Harrison. So Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, just have a literally
Or
every
maybe he
Ohio State wide
mentors. Maybe
receiver.
he mentors. Yeah, who knows?
That's true. That is true as well. I think he goes to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I
Stays
was
in the
thinking that too.
division. Stays
Yeah.
in the
I was thinking
division.
that too. He's petty.
Yeah. He can only play for Western teams at this point in his career. He's established himself out here. Um,
Oh, I don't know if a good Christian man like him would want to be in
oh,
Vegas, though.
that's true. That's true. Then again, he's lived in Seattle and Denver, so
Russell
not as
Wilson.
not
Sin
as raw,
City.
not
Sin
as
City.
raunchy. That is true. Not as
Sin
raunchy
City.
as Vegas, but not exactly meccas of
Yeah, then that's
Christianity
true. That's true.
themselves. If he wanted to go, he should go to like Houston if he wanted to do that, but they've already got their quarterback. So tough.
Go down
Um,
to New Orleans.
Texans anyway.
New Orleans. Oh,
Or-
Saints actually aren't a bad, or the Falcons.
I can't believe the Saints did not fire Dennis Allen.
It will never make
How
sense to me.
much
They fired
longer is he
Pete
going to
Carmichael,
have?
but
How much longer are they going to give Dennis Allen?
it does make sense. It does. He's lost the locker room now too because of the Jameis Winston stuff.
Yeah.
So they got a
So
lot
funny
of.
that James Winston's still like a beloved in the locker room. He's just such a weird guy. I love him.
There's a video actually recent. Did you see this video? It was back when Jameis was in the draft process and Jim Harbaugh and Jed Fish
Yep,
were
yep,
running him
yep.
through the interviews. Yeah,
What was
that's awesome.
Jed Fish was sitting there quiet.
Yeah, well, he chimed in. He chimed in. He was like, and it was funny too because one of the comments was like, because Jed was the one who brought up the crab leg situation, and one of the comments was like after Fish said something about the crab legs, Harbaugh looked at Jameis like he had no idea what it was he was talking about. Like he literally looked surprised. He was like kind of had the old man look where you're so it was kind of funny. I like that. That was a
That
good
was an
video.
awesome
It's
video.
so funny. Harbaugh looks like he's aged like 30 years
Oh
between when he
yeah.
finished with the Niners and to now. He looks so old
But
now
like
compared to what then.
Fish wasn't with Harbaugh when he was with the Niners. I think that was in Michigan.
No, that was at Michigan. No, he had
Yeah.
it. This was it was like a little event that ESPN put on to like prepare
Hmm.
what's Jameis for pre-draft interviews. But he was with the Niners at that point. Or sorry, he was with the Wolverines at that point,
Wolverines,
I
yeah.
mean. So
Real big fish.
real big fish. We got our
See that he was
fish
in he was hanging out with Ballmer at the
at the
Clippers
Clippers
game.
game. Yeah.
You know, he's got some swagger. He's definitely
Yeah.
a lot more of like just a weird guy
Yeah.
compared to the
He puts
Boar.
himself out there though. I mean,
He's got a
he's
beat,
going to the
he's
Kraken game.
he's very personable,
Hmm.
and he's got a hot wife. He can sell himself.
He does. He definitely does. So yeah, he's
For
showing he
what he
can sell
looks
himself.
like and what his wife and family looks like is like, geez, he scored.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but I mean he literally said it's like, hey, Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer are season ticket holders for the Huskies. There's no reason we shouldn't have the top NIL in the entire country. So
Hmm. I
we'll
don't know if
see.
that's true that they actually are season ticket holders.
Yeah, me neither. But he said it. So
I mean, everyone saw Bill Gates at the Natty, and we're all like, "Give us money now."
right. So we'll
But
see, man.
buy Nike and kick out Phil Knight.
Yeah. Uh
One last thing about
okay.
that though was did we? I don't know if we said it here, but I don't know who said it. Someone said it. If it was here, if it was Twitter, if it was somewhere else, but someone said that Jed Fish is like 20-year older Mike McDaniel. I was like, that's not too bad of a idea. Kind of different guys.
Yeah, just like interesting characters. But
Yeah.
I'm with it. I'm with it. 20 years. How old is Mike McDaniel? Because Jed Fish is only like 47.
Oh,
Mike
Mike,
McDaniel's probably like he looks really good for his age,
he
probably. He's
looks
probably mid
really good.
30s.
Mike McDaniel's 40. So he's
Wow, he
actually only
looks
7 years
great.
apart. He looks way younger. He looks
Mike
like
McDaniel
freaking.
looks great.
No, he honestly looks like if you told me Mike McDaniel was like in his late 20s, I would believe you. So that's kind of crazy. He's that young. Or it's that old, I mean. He does not look 40. He does
doesn't
not
really
look
sound
40.
40 either. You know what I mean?
No, the way he talks, he does not seem like he's 40 by any means. Actually, okay, out of curiosity, hold up. I'm doing a quick search here. May 10th, 1993 or 1983. Wow. Mike McDaniel is older than Zach Taylor. Would
Wow.
not have guessed that. Would not have guessed that.
Probably years
And
playing
not
quarterback. I think he looks better because he never played. Didn't get that wear
That's
and
true.
tear.
Didn't have the stress. Doesn't have the stress, yeah.
Although Jed didn't play any football. I don't think Jed even played high school ball.
I don't know about that, but I know he didn't
No,
play
I
in
don't think he
college.
did.
He
I think
didn't?
because no, because he's short and not very big.
That's
Look, pull
true.
up the Wikipedia right now. I want to see if he pull it up on the main tab. I want to, because I think he said he didn't play high school ball. He just said I always
I
wanted to be
know
a
he didn't play
coach.
at all in college. I know he didn't
Yeah.
play at all in college. I do know that for a fact. Because he spent his entire undergrad trying to get Spurrier's attention. Grew up in he did not play football at the high school or college level, but he was an all-state
Tennis.
tennis player.
Good
Josh
man.
Rosen.
There you go,
Both
man.
both members of the tribe though.
There you go. So, dang, that's crazy. Me and Jed have that in common. Neither of us played in college.
Yeah, me too.
There you go. We can all be Jed Fishes someday.
He's like the absolute exception. I think
Oh,
Mike Leach didn't play any ball, right?
let's find out actually. We Mike Leach.
Mike Leach might have played high school ball.
I want to say, yeah.
Long
Let's
snapper.
see.
He
I did
was a
not know Mike
Mormon.
Leach was Mormon. I didn't know that.
I guess that makes sense why he went to BYU.
Played football there. His career played.
Rugby.
Oh, wow. He played. So he didn't play college football because of injuries, but he was recruited and then he played rugby instead. You know what? Good for him. Good for him. Um, he found his passion. Shout out Mike Leach. We missed you, man.
We
Um,
do. Thanks for Dylan Johnson.
thanks so much.
I can't believe he called Dylan Johnson soft. Do you remember that?
I actually do not. No. Wait, when do you say that? Hold on.
When Dylan Johnson entered the portal. Wait, no. I think he tweeted about it like during the near the end of the season. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm not soft. But yeah. This is like it was like days before he died too.
Yeah.
After
That being
thanking
said,
God,
since I'm
family,
not
friends,
very tough and
teammates.
like that being said, since I'm not very tough and Leach is glad I'm leaving, I will be entering my name into the
It's like,
transfer portal.
ooh.
Dang man.
Scroll up just a little bit though, see on that tab. Look at that. Just that's the absolute commitment announcement. After thanking God, family, friends, teammates, fans. It's like, yep, that ticks all the boxes right there of
Yep.
just like notes app transfer announcements, you know.
Yep.
Honestly, here's my golden app idea. Oh, this would have been good like 5 years ago. Um, is make like a notes app that looks a lot nicer for high school football players to make their
Mhm.
announcements on. And that's a good idea right there and really market it to them.
I like it. I like the way you're
That, but you
thinking.
don't see that anymore because all you get is Hayes Fawcett stuff.
Right.
And go on Hayes Fawcett. I had a genius idea comparison. It finally clicked who exactly it was. But do you know who Hayes Fawcett is, Daniel?
I don't know.
Oh, he makes these off. For some reason, like high school football players love him, but he makes these awful commitment pictures that are super. Oh, there's our boy Asa. It's the Ryan Williams one, especially made me think of it. He makes these like super saturated, deep fried pictures
Hmm.
of
This one right here.
no, the actual commitment one of high
This
school.
one.
Yeah, here we go. Yep, this one. You know what it reminds me of is a Ben Garrison is those Ben Garrison drawings. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do. I think so. Yeah, I think
He's a
so.
conservative political cartoonist, and he puts like a million things, and they're all labeled in his picture. So like, just look up Ben Garrison on Google Images, and you'll get the gist. He's like, look how much stuff is in this one. No, yeah, this is fine too. We'll see if we'll.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy. I'd rather just look him up on
Oh,
Google.
like okay.
Yeah, like look him up on Google Images because he might be better there. But he just has like these ridiculous political cartoons with everything's labeled, and there's just so much going on in all of them. Look up Ben Garrison label.
Garrison. This one's got a lot going on here.
Yeah, they're really when you look at them a bit more ironically, at least from my political perspective, they're very funny in that there's so much going on in them.
Hmm. Oh yeah, this one's got a whole lot going on. Okay, I see what you're saying though. No,
Yep,
I see what you're
look at all
saying.
those labels, you know. I think he must have toned it down recently. But like in the early Trump era, they were just so busy. He definitely had his style down. I'll give him that. But that's what Hayes Fawcett. I finally made that connection in my head the other day. That's what I think of when I think of Hayes Fawcett. Because they're not that good. Why does everyone like them so much? They're not good. What are your thoughts on that, Beau, working in recruiting?
I so I mean we made our own edits for stuff like
Hmm.
that. I don't think they're like you said. I mean it's basically just put the recruit, put him on in his in his jersey, put him on the field. It's pretty elementary Photoshop to be quite honest with you. Um, with that said, I mean it's not like offensive to look at, I
No, no.
suppose, which
They're
is
just
like I
weird. They're
don't
just,
know. It, it,
you
it,
can definitely
it's weird that
see.
he's the go-to, I guess. It's
Mhm.
weird that he has become the go-to for all of that
Yeah, that
stuff.
he's become the guy for it,
Hmm.
It's like really him? Because like
Hmm.
there's people out there and then schools too. The ones that school make, like when you just think of like artistically and just like, as a composition, look a lot better because they don't have a million things going on. And they're not
Hmm.
super deep fried to the point where Dan Lanning looks like he has blackface on,
I
It,
did see that one for Evan Stewart.
yeah. It's just it's like Hayes Fawcett totally didn't get any education. He's totally self-taught.
No, exactly. He's not the expert. He's not the expert by any
Hey,
means.
kids like him. Kids like him.
That's true. That is true. If he can get the job done, he can get the job done. Um, let's see here. I guess
Ooh,
last
one more game.
yeah, last game that we still haven't covered here. Chiefs Bills. And it
Same
was
every year.
quite the game. Quite
Same
the game here.
every season. Bills are cursed. I always play the Chiefs. Chiefs always win. Usually it's pretty close. And then you start the whole circus with the Bills again. Is Stephon Diggs going to leave? Is Sean McDermott going to get fired? Is Josh Allen the guy? And then for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes has now made his sixth consecutive AFC championship game, which, love it or
Oh
not,
my
that's
God.
nutty. That is nutty, boys.
Hmm.
That's pretty insane.
And he keeps proving himself. Still a good quarterback, even with limited weapons. Still gets it done when
He's
things.
playing his best football right now in January.
He is. He is. Best he's looked all year.
Hmm.
Um, Man, Bills need to try something different though. They need to move on from Stephon Diggs, and they should really go for a top tier target. It's not working. It's not working.
I
And
don't know about
and
moving
it's
on
not
from
just
Stephon
and
Diggs,
it's
but they
not
need something
just not
across from
working.
him.
It's not just not working. There's also a bunch of drama around it. I think they
That
need to
is
move
true.
on from McDermott. I think they need to move on from Diggs and probably maybe go like target for target or maybe like trade for picks and trade those picks for a target, you know. It's just not working.
Hmm.
I think Tyler Lockett might be on the Bills next year.
That wouldn't get me excited though. If it was like
I think that would
Lockett,
be a really good player for Bills.
yeah, but I mean, if you're getting rid of Diggs and you're replacing him with Lockett,
I wouldn't say that's the direct replacement. I'm saying I could see Tyler Lockett leave the
hmm,
Seahawks after this year and go to the Chiefs or
yeah,
Bills because Lockett was probably Pete Carroll's favorite on the team. Him or Bobby
hmm,
were his absolute favorite. And with the new regime, it might not be looked at the same. Maybe trade for value now.
yeah, I can see that. Schneider having a little bit more say now
I think
in the
Lockett's
football
a
decisions.
fantastic. I would not want him to go though, but I could see. I'm just saying I could see it happening. I still think
Yeah,
he's a very good player. He was untouched. He was untouchable when Pete was in charge.
hmm. It's been there forever, man. Tyler, 2015 draft, right?
I
Second round out
know.
of K
He's
State.
carved. What's this? Yeah, we traded that for him. He's carved himself out quite a good career. And there's a younger Lockett at K-State now who's better
Is
and
there
looks
really?
the exact same.
That's fantastic. Is his younger brother or like a cousin or?
I think it's younger brother. Look it up.
That's not
Pull it
crazy.
up.
An 8 year difference. That's not crazy. Or 9 year. Let's see.
Lockett K-State.
I'm just looking up Kansas
Yeah.
State football roster and then running a
Control F.
Control F. Yep, Control F for
Control F for
Lockett.
Rooney.
We're gonna have to go. They might not have posted their 24 roster yet. That's fine. We'll go 2023.
Yeah. Drop down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. It's like frozen.
Uh,
Oh,
these
here we
shitty
go.
these shitty sites.
Oh, 2023. Here we go. Yeah, these websites are from like the 90s. They're still running on the same OS from here we go. Okay. Control
Phil
F.
Snyder made this website.
Sterling
Sterling.
Lockett. Oh yeah,
See,
that's
yep. Better hair though. But it's their, yeah, yep. See, isn't that the exact same build?
yeah.
5'10", 164. But like their
There you
body and
go,
play
man.
style are the exact same. I'd love no Lockett, especially if he still has the speed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this game though, before we get distracted again.
The Kings beat the Warriors. Go boys. Kings beat the Warriors. At least one California Kings team can win.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Okay, now let's get to the game.
We don't
They won't
believe in
beat him.
basketball in
They
this
beat him by
podcast.
1 point. They had the ball. Hold on. Actually, you know what happened? Great. Okay, sorry. We'll get into the game here, but Daniel, you care about basketball, so you'll listen to this. They blocked a shot with 12 seconds left and got the ball back. They were up one at this point. Warriors obviously foul. Of course, Kevin Herter misses both free throws because he's a freaking choker. The Warriors get the ball back, but De'Aaron Fox steals the ball back from Steph. Game over. Kings win.
Nice.
In Chase Center too. It was in San Francisco. So it's a good road win against a division opponent. Yeah, the Warriors aren't good this year, but I'll still take it because especially after the last year's playoffs, want a little revenge. But anyways, let's talk Bills Chiefs. Let's talk Bills Chiefs. It's like Daniel said, the Bills legitimately are cursed. The Sean McDermott Bills are cursed,
They
which is a
are.
shame because Josh Allen's a damn good player. Honestly, the throw he had to Diggs that was like 60 yards in the air on a dime,
That's a fantastic
and Diggs
throw.
just dropped it.
Yeah.
I mean, what else
Josh
do you
Allen
want
did
to
all he
do?
could.
Josh Allen was fantastic in this game. The only throw I saw him like really miss all day was that second down throw, where he could have checked it down to Diggs and got an easy first down and kept the clock running. Instead, he went for the shot to the end zone, got hit while he threw it, and ended up short hopping it. So, but that was the only throw he really like missed all day,
He had a
honestly.
great game. He had a great game.
It was fantastic. He was
I
good to see.
love those like January Bills games when like the club level seats are clearly like under a broiler. Like it's like a bright red light. They're
Hmm.
like that's a heater. It really makes me think of like a rotisserie chicken or pig. You know, they're just cooking them down there. It's very funny.
Hmm. Hmm. He was
James Cook had another good game too.
he did. I mean, the Bills' offense wasn't the problem by any means. It was their defense
Their
and
defense is just injured to hell.
hmm hmm honestly, real honest question. And I know back in like November when the Bills were like 6-6 and we were saying they were done, and Daniel was there saying, "Have be patient, the Bills will figure it out." And they did. They got to the divisional round again, and they lost just like they did once again. This is a question. I'm gonna pose this to Daniel Lisenby. Is the Bills window closed?
I think if they keep the same exact structure going into next year, then it's closed. If they retool around Josh Allen, I think it's still open. I think I'm with Rob. Get McDermott out. If you can get Dable back in, who worked really well with Josh Allen when he was OC, you can kind of reignite that offense. Stephon Diggs either needs to go or he needs to be wide receiver too. I'm hearing like from Bill's discourse right now, he just can't be like they don't. I think the attitude for Bills fans right now is they don't mind Diggs staying for the most part. He just can't be wide receiver one going forward. He's starting to get a little bit older, he's starting to get a little bit more washed. The game against the Chiefs kind of proved that in some plays.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think they need to retool. I think as long as Josh Allen's there, they're always going to be competitive, but
Mm.
Right,
they
right. And I mean,
have to
that's
retool around him. Otherwise, they will not get better.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
the Allen Bills could end up being like the Rodgers Packers, and that they're
Mhm.
always going to be competitive. They're never going to be easy. They're probably a safe bet to make the playoffs more often than not. But is that their ceiling?
They're
Hey,
coming to
at
that
least
point
McCarthy won a
where
Super Bowl.
That's true.
I think since you're comparing it to the Packers, they're coming to that point where kind of the same point to where around Mike McCarthy got fired from Green Bay.
Hmm.
Where they kept McCarthy around for too long and then ultimately got them out of the playoffs entirely. So I can see that happening with McDermott eventually if they keep him around for too long, where the Bills just kind of peter out for 1 year, but then
Hmm.
a new coach can reignite them after. So we shall see what happens this offseason.
They need to get Belichick.
The irony, man.
That would be
That'd be funny.
crazy.
The irony.
It's just not working there. I think that you need to make a change.
Mhm.
And, but you know, the longer, I mean, he survived all week. I don't think they're gonna make a change.
No, they would if they were going to make a change, they wouldn't be making it after Thursday of the game. Like this time last week was when the Cowboys were announcing they were bringing back McCarthy.
Mm,
So,
yep.
so on the Chiefs side of things, you already said it, Rob. They're playing well. Mahomes is playing his best ball this season. They're playing despite again not being that talented receiving core. Their offense looked fantastic in this game, though. I will
Hmm.
say that. Like, I mean, it was like all season we could be like, oh, the Chiefs were losing despite their receivers, or winning, I should say, despite what their receiver position looked like. And I mean, the receivers are playing good right now. They're doing their job. Mahomes is obviously playing fantastic. They're peaking at the right time. We've seen him do this before. It's going to get Taylor Swift into the Super Bowl.
Tyler Bass.
Tyler Bass. Poor
God
guy, man.
damn
I
it.
feel bad for him. Wide right too, man. The Bill that made
I
that and
know.
that's what makes me think the Bills are cursed. Wide right. Again.
Honestly, that wouldn't have happened if you built a dome.
I heard
That's
they
the
were
thing too.
playing
They were
new
playing for a
weren't they?
field goal, and it was like I was saying that is by no means like a gimme field goal.
Yeah,
It wasn't
you had to get volunteers to shovel snow. It's not don't play for a field goal, man.
it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Um
Weren't the Bills going to build a new stadium at some
they
point?
are building a stadium, yeah. So
Is it gonna be a dome?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they might do the way like Seattle and Miami have, where they've got kind of like the covering, but like
The
it's
little
open in the
cantilever.
middle. Little cantilever, yeah, but it's got the opening in the
That's
middle.
so stupid. That is so
They're
stupid.
they're dedicated to their home field advantage, even when it bites them in the ass. This is
It's
two
not
years
an
in a
advantage.
row,
It's a
actually.
disadvantage
It's
for
2 years in
everybody.
a row where the Bills I played a home playoff game in the divisional round, um, and the weather ended up hurting them.
If you're not getting a dome, why the hell aren't you investing in a good running game?
And James Cook had a solid season.
He did have a good year, but they didn't invest in that, though. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
true.
You should
That's
send a
true.
letter to the Pakulas and ask them that question, Rob.
I'm gonna
Oh
ask them
no.
what they're doing with the Sabres before I ask them to help the Bills out. That's AFC competition.
Hey, don't knock the Sabres, man. They got a nice win yesterday.
I remember when
It's their first one in 10 years.
it was like the season before the Kraken entered the league. It was near the end when the Sabres were having an insane losing streak. And I remember I saw a power ranking on like ESPN or no, I think it was a local newspaper in Buffalo, but it got put on ESPN because it was funny, and they ranked the Kraken above the Sabres because they were doing so bad, and they didn't even exist yet.
There you go. There you go. Any closing thoughts on divisional weekend before we hop into a little coaching carousel talk?
Another good weekend of the playoffs, to be honest. The playoffs this weekend have been good. This year have been good.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Texans Ravens game, all these games came down to the wire.
And that Texans Ravens game was close into the fourth.
Hmm. So, yeah. Alrighty. Well, we've had some hires, quite a few hires actually, the past
It went
past
down in the
handful of
last
days.
24 hours,
Yeah,
especially.
honestly, Raheem Morris, Dave Canales,
And kind of Jimmy. Kind of Jimmy.
Harbaugh, and
Callahan.
Callahan on Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, past couple days have been a ton of hires. So Raheem Morris, Rams defense coordinator, officially the head coach of the Falcons. None of us had that. None of us had him getting a job, period. Although he's been interviewing with jobs quite a bit the
Hmm.
past few years. So not too
It
surprised
was
to see him
finally his turn. Yeah.
going back. Actually, funny enough, he was the interim coach for the Falcons when they
That's
fired Dan
right.
Can or
Yeah.
Dan
Quinn.
Quinn, I mean.
Yeah, he
Um,
was he Dan Quinn's DC? No, that
yeah, he
was
was.
Marquand Man. No, 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 no. That was Marquand Manuel. I think
Oh
Raheem
yeah.
Morris was DP's coach.
Yeah, but Raheem Morris was the interim, so it's kind of funny. He's come
I
full
know,
circle
yeah.
there. Um,
Hey guys, I have a question. Wasn't Raheem Morris the head coach in Tampa Bay like way
he
back
was
in
like in the
2020?
Josh Freeman Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Yeah,
era.
Josh
Yep.
Freeman,
Yep.
Long time ago now.
Way back when. Way back pre Greg
Schiano.
Schiano.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Michael Bennett played for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You did. You
Yeah,
did.
he was super young when he had got that. But hey, to be honest, the Rams really overperformed their defensive talent
Mm-hmm.
this year.
No, he's a great
I
DC,
think he
honestly.
earned
I think
it.
it's a
I think
solid
he earned it.
hire. Yeah, I
I
think
think he earned it.
everyone, including myself, kind of just assumed Belichick was going to be a shoe in there. But no, he's good. I honestly like Raheem Morris. I think it's a solid hire in Atlanta.
I think so
Now what
too.
he's going to do with the offensive situation, I heard Zach Robinson makes sense for the OC. Obviously, he was in LA, so they've got that relationship. He's one of the more popular OC candidates in this cycle. So if you could bring him over, that could be fun. Bring the McVay style. They need a quarterback, obviously. Would Justin Fields fit in that system?
No,
It could.
no,
Okay.
absolutely not. I don't think that's a good fit. You want Fields playing a lot of shotgun.
It's true. That's true. Who's a coach or not coach quarterback they could bring in?
Russell Wilson. Oh wait,
Russell
no, he doesn't
Wilson's
fit that scheme. He doesn't fit that scheme well. Hmm.
um because they need a quarterback. They definitely need a quarterback.
I think they're gonna be drafting one.
Yeah, but at 8,
Maybe they trade up.
yeah, they can trade up. That's not a bad option actually. Maybe um Yeah, Patriots, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Gerard Mayo's not. Gerard Mayo already said they're going to draft a quarterback high.
Smoke
So let's
screen, smoke screen started early. Jimmy G, porn star
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Jimmy G back to the Patriots.
He's cooked, man.
Yeah, he is.
We'll
Tommy's
we'll
need a
have plenty of
quarterback.
time
So,
to think about that, though.
well,
We
let's
have
talk.
plenty of time. You got plenty of time. Let's
Um,
not spoil all of our content.
that's true. That's true. Moving forward here, Dave Canales, former Seahawk, then Buck,
I
now
can't believe I
Panther.
got that one right. I got really
Yeah,
lucky on that one. There was no smoke.
yeah, that was a true shot in the dark, but it paid off. It paid off big time.
Good call, Rob.
Hey,
He,
my biggest thing was like, hey, not many people are gonna want this job. Maybe they're gonna take a risk on someone, you know?
mhm, yeah, he he's done a lot the past couple years with not very good quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I think he's a really good like coach. I don't know if he's amazing X's and O's wise. It's interesting because he was in Seattle for like 10 years, leaves for 1 year, and then gets a head coaching job. So I don't know how much of a network he's got, you
hmm
know?
Yeah. We'll see what they do with the coordinators if they can bring Evero back. I mean, sweet, that's awesome.
There's no way. I mean, the same thing kind of happened with him in Denver last year. And then he's going to be one of the prizes of the cycle.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
But I get that was, like you said, shot in the dark. One of my risks finally paid off. First one
mhm,
ever.
great, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if you are worried about Bryce Young, you're worried about his development. Come bring the guy in who
Mm,
fixed Geno and Baker in back-to-back years.
mm.
That'll do it.
What
That'll
a
do it.
meteoric rise for him, though.
Right. Yeah. He was there before Shane Waldron was.
He's been there for a long time.
Hmm.
He was, yeah, look
Yeah.
him up. Look him up. He was there for like 10 years almost. No, no, no.
Oh,
Canales.
yeah, sorry. I was thinking of Waldron still. Dave Canales, 42 years old, California. Oh, I went to Missouri Pacific. That's fun.
2010 to 17 receivers, man. He was there a while.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, he was just bouncing. Yeah, 2010, 2017 is a wide receivers coach, then quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach again, OC, head coach. Yeah, he was all over the place here. He was
But he was in
all over the
Seattle for
place.
12 years. That's not going to be a big network, man. That's not going to be a
No.
big network.
He's an assistant strength coach for USC back in 2009.
That was Pete's last year. Yeah, he
Yeah.
followed Pete.
What if
Yeah,
he
he
gets
followed Pete and
Carroll
took a
as a
position
special
coach
advisor?
job. What's that?
What if he gets Pete Carroll as a special advisor?
He's already doing that for UW, probably.
It's doing it for everyone. Pete Carroll's a special advisor to the entire league. Technically, he's supposed
I
to be
think
doing that for the Seahawks too. Was what he was. What
he is
Jody
never,
said.
he's not showing up. She
Yeah,
said that to me. I don't think he has any interest in doing that.
yeah. Um, Good for Cows.
Callahan, your
Actually,
favorite.
one more fun. Actually, speaking of Callahan, funny thing here. Last year, the Buccaneers before they offered Dave Canales the OC job, they also offered another coach the OC job, but he turned it down because of what he foresaw on the horizon with a certain team in Southwest Ohio, specifically his direct superior, Brian Callahan. What I'm saying in a very roundabout way. Dan Pitcher, the new Bengals offense coordinator, turned down the Bucks OC job last year because he wanted to be the Bengals OC after Callahan left. And guess what? Callahan just left. So congrats, Dan Pitcher, for getting the
Bucks?
offense coordinator job.
Bucks job?
Yeah, he turned down the Bucks job
Okay.
last offseason before Canales got it. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
So there you go. He waited because he wanted to take over for Callahan after he left. And now
And
Callahan's
still
gone
and still not call plays though.
and still not call plays, which, yeah, interesting call on that one.
That's an
But
interesting one, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe his thought
He
was,
just
if
likes
I'm
it
going
there,
to tie
maybe, you know?
myself, he has been there since 2016. He was there before Taylor was.
He just
So
must like it there.
yeah, Yeah, probably his
There's a lot
family's
more
there.
lifers in NFL than college.
Yeah, yeah, his family's there. Plus, too, I mean, if you're gonna, he might just be like, "Hey, I want to tack in my career to Joe Burrow." Probably not a bad call.
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah, let's talk Callahan. Let's talk Callahan though. So,
I was surprised by this one. This one came out of nowhere.
yeah, I know I've been vocal with Brian Callahan hate in the past. I don't think he's a bad OC. He wasn't a play caller, which, was like, okay, we need to get rid of him just to get some new voices in the room because the offense, quite frankly, did underachieve for how much talent they had. Um, but I also do give him credit. As bad as the Bengals offense usually is from weeks 1 through 8, for some reason, every single year after like week 8, like week 9 and on, the Bengals offense finds a way to figure it out and is usually pretty good in the second half of the season, which credit adjustments, evolving, whatever you want to call it, coaching, honestly, it's a big part of coaching. Um, he's consistently gotten the most out of his guys in November and December, especially this year when they did not have Joe Burrow. Um, so, like I said, I've been critical of Brian Callahan. He played a big part in the play designs in Cincinnati, which I was always critical of. It was less the play calling, more the play designing that I wasn't always a fan of. That was a lot on Brian Callahan. So in that regard, I'm glad that we're gonna get a new voice on that side of things. However, I still do think he's a good general offensive coach. I think he will, if there's anyone that I'd want to come in and try to get the most out of a young quarterback, and Will Levis, yeah, Brian Callahan could probably do a pretty good job. So I don't hate this hire by any means. I'm also upset, but I'm also not upset that he's gone, which maybe you can weigh into that what you will. But
Hmm.
I think it's solid. I think it's solid. No complaints there.
All right, you're gonna get some thoughts on the Seahawks hiring process from me now.
Yes.
I think it was Dan Quinn to be done by now. I really do. And we got
Mm-hmm.
news today that we are not making a hire until after this weekend. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
little confusing for me. What does that tell me? I think it tells me that we are seriously making a run for Ben Johnson, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the coaches left, I think he's the only one we
He's the only
interviewed.
one who's still that he's interviewing. Yeah.
And we didn't even request anything from Mike McDonald. That's the other candidate that I'd want out of the ones there.
Hmm.
So that's what's really confusing to me. Are we waiting for Belichick? Do we want a college coach? I don't know. Who do you want now, especially at this time in the cycle? It's
Hmm.
really quite confusing to me. So is it true that we're making a push for Johnson? Who knows? But there's a lot of factors that kind of dissuade me there because Johnson's made it pretty clear he wants to be on the East Coast, and that he is a package deal with the guy who just got named Kami's GM.
Hmm.
So the whole process is really confusing for me there. And then another thing someone heard two things about a name I really wasn't thinking about at all, but did get an interview. And he got a second interview too. And I think I might have told you about this, Beau, or maybe in the chat.
Hmm.
But it's Mike Kafka. So one person told me that Mike Kafka had a really good interview. Another person, not really Seahawks related, but just NFL circles, gave like a glowing review of Kafka and really sold me on Kafka. Just being in the read tree, really smart schematically, great network, and absolutely maximized the garbage on the Giants in the last 2 years, and is sick of Dable because Dable's hard to get along with, um, and wants out. I really did get sold on described to maybe be a Matt LaFleur type is what I was really described to him as. He really did sell me on Kafka as someone I went from I would not really want to hire to I'd be pretty okay with hiring Kafka. But I mean, if it was Kafka, we'd hire him by now. What are we waiting for?
Hmm.
That's the whole thing. And it's been very tight-lipped. You boys got anything to add? Anything you guys hear?
So I did see from one source, and I'll just say it was Ben Albright. He tweeted that he thinks the Seahawks want to interview McDonald. My, I guess, pushback on that is they can. It's not like it's not allowed. You could have other teams have interviewed him. I don't know what they're waiting for. So, and he still
They
thinks
didn't
that Dan
request one.
Quinn. Yeah, they didn't request one. So it's like if you didn't want, if you want to, why didn't you? So I'm confused on that. They've obviously interviewed Quinn twice now, I think.
But the thing is, Commanders actually had a second interview with Quinn.
It's true.
So what's going
It's
on
true.
there, you know?
Yeah, let me
It would
pull
be
up the
very funny if the Seahawks end up with Ben Johnson and the Commanders with Dan Quinn.
Let's see if I can find this tweet from Albright about the Seahawks earlier.
I
He still
still
thinks Ben
think,
Johnson to the commies. They say he says internal support for Quinn and Vrabel remains in the picture
for
for the
who?
Seahawks. For the
Seahawks, yeah.
Seahawks.
I think everyone in the org wants Quinn. Everyone loves
Hmm.
Quinn there. Quinn is a very well-liked person just in NFL circles.
Hmm.
Um, what are we waiting for? Because, you're also going to miss out on hiring assistants too, you know?
Yep. Yep.
If it's Quinn, what is the holdup? I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
It's
think,
just confusing.
this runs into the problem, and it actually ended up working out for the Bengals, funny enough. But back when Zach Taylor was hired,
Oh,
was the
yeah.
year he was the Rams QB coach, and they went to the Super Bowl. Because he got such a late start in um starting, I guess. They weren't able to hire OCs and DCs as quickly as they wanted to. And at first it was like
No
Jack Del
one,
Rio. Yeah, no one it was
no
first
one
gonna be
wanted
Jack Del
that.
Rio. He backed out. No one wanted the DC job until he eventually circled around to Lou Anarumo,
And
which has
that
worked
worked
out,
out real well.
swimmingly, funny enough. But
Well, I remember I don't know if I was messing with you about that or not. I don't know if we knew each other by then. It was
I
like,
don't think at
geez,
that point we knew each other. But
no
yeah,
one
no
wants
one
this
wanted it.
job.
No
And
one
he's done a
wanted it.
great job.
No,
And
Lou
honestly,
Anarumo's done a great
that's
job.
probably on Zach Taylor for not having, that in place. The
Hmm.
having the back channel is very solid. But the
Yeah.
funny thing is that uh what was it? Oh yeah. There's the McVay's very famous interview with the Rams. Do you know what happened in it? I don't know if it ever got
Oh
published,
no,
but
I
I've
didn't
been
hear. Wait,
told
what
this
happened?
story. When he was in his interview, I don't know if he walked in and said it, but I think he said it pretty quickly. But it was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, uh, Wade Phillips is going to be my DC. He's expecting a call from you guys." He said that right there. Wade Phillips is going to be my because that was like the biggest worry about McVay. He's young, experienced, network. It's like, oh yeah, like one of the most regarded DCs in the game. Oh yeah, yeah, we got it. He's ready,
Yeah. So there you go. There you
and he
go.
just nailed that interview. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. I don't know. It's worked out with Anarumo, but it's funny he was like a fifth choice. You see, some fifth choices do work out, and some fifth choices end up being John
Oh,
Donovan.
John Don.
So,
Man.
um, yeah, we'll see. My thought, and okay, so here's my thought on how the Seahawks search will go. I think they do still think they stand a chance for Ben Johnson. I think they still
Hmm.
think they can get him. I think next week, at some point next week, regardless of the Lions win or not, Ben Johnson's it's gonna be leaked that he's gonna be the Commander's head coach. I think later that day, Dan Quinn gets announced as the Seahawks coach. Is what's
Hmm.
gonna happen.
Honestly, I'd like Kafka be on staff, but I might get blocked. But it's like if he really is sick of Dable, he can probably get his way out of there. Aaron Glenn. Did we interview him? I'm not sure.
No,
I
they
don't think
didn't.
we did.
The
Yeah.
Titans actually did, I think.
Hmm.
I think the Titans
Why
did.
not?
The Falcons did too, but Titans and Falcons both did, but neither of them hired him.
Hey, man. He's supposed to be the next Dan Campbell. I don't understand why teams aren't hiring him.
Actually, you know what's funny? Aaron Glenn was one of the guys that the Bengals interviewed for their DC job back in
And he said
2019. It
no.
all comes full circle, and he said no. Actually, they might not have given it to. They might not have offered him, but
Hmm.
um, they did interview him. I do remember that. Well, there we go. Any more thoughts on the Harbaugh to the I remember I was going to talk about this. People saying that the Chargers are going to be like amazing team next year just because they got Harbaugh and Herbert. Slow down. I'm not saying that they won't soon be really good, but they're not going to be really good year one. Their defense is horrible. They're in cap
It's
hell. The receivers are either all old, injured, or terrible. I'm talking about Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnston specifically.
yeah.
And Austin Eckler still wants out. And their O line has problems to the point where they need to probably use their fifth overall pick on Joe Alt. So,
Can't believe they're picking fifth. Yikes. You know,
they've got
and
problems
to
on
be
that team.
honest, it's not a stylistic fit for the good players they have either, in my opinion. I think Herbert is a weird fit with Harbaugh.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
Harbaugh's just so like I don't know. I
weird
guess
and
Harbaugh got
annoying.
along fine with Alex Smith, so I don't know.
And then like you got good receivers, but like I don't think Eckler's fitted suited for that like inside ground and pound. He's a
Big ground
receiving
pound.
back. Yeah, it's just I don't think Herbert. I think Herbert. You want to play him out of shotgun with at least three receivers on the field at all times. You know, it just
Hmm.
it's a weird fit for me. I
Hmm.
just don't get it.
It's gonna be very old school. I had seen apparently wants Greg Roman as his OC.
Oh God,
That's just the
they're gonna
rumor. I
trade
don't know.
Justin Herbert.
Trade for Tyler Huntley.
No way.
Are
That's
they
No, they're
gonna
not good.
be? Are they gonna be? Does Harbaugh have full control?
They haven't
I
hired
just,
a GM yet.
I just
I think
can't
he
believe
does.
Thanos actually ponied up for Jim
I
Harbaugh.
know. That was
Like,
Yeah.
surprising.
because that's why I didn't think he was gonna go to the Chargers. I didn't think I had a feeling like I thought Spanos and Harbaugh were gonna get into some kind of contract dispute through their agents or whatever, because Harbaugh was gonna want a bunch of money or term, and Spanos is fucking Spanos. But he actually hired him. And now you're mentioning there's rumors of trading Herbert, bro. Fuck, what are the Chargers doing, man? I feel bad for their tier two.
I don't think are there rumors of it? I was like it
Oh,
could
I
happen.
thought you were mentioning that.
No.
Okay.
I'm spitballing here.
Okay. They better not trade Herbert, man.
No,
Jesus.
they're not
I
going to.
really hope that Herbert got another bad quarter coach for his development, and I just love it. I love it. The bright star comes out of Oregon and immediately face plants. Penix will have a better career, even though he might go undrafted now.
He's not going to go in draft.
I get his logic. I think it was a clickbait title.
I don't think he's going to go in the first round anymore, though.
No, I don't think so either.
Just get Penix on a solid franchise, man. And I think he'll have a chance. If he goes to like the Jets, for example, he's probably not going to do anything because it's the Jets. But if he goes to
Hmm.
like he goes to the Seahawks, man, I feel like they could develop
I'd
him.
love that. You know what'd be fun is if you went to the Dolphins round two, back home. I guess kind of back home is Tampa,
Yeah, Tampa needs a quarterback. Go to Tampa in round two.
but you already got the lefty infrastructure in place, you know.
True.
I heard that Miami wanted to keep Tua long term though, so I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger.
They have no cap space. They would literally be hamstringing their team for the next 5 years if they extend to a long term. I saw that too, but I was seeing some cap projections. It's like you have to cut most of the defense to make that
Yeah.
happen.
You're not going to get to
Which
keep Wilkins.
Jalen Ramsey to ATL to follow Raheem Morris. I could see it.
Mm.
So it's interesting. It's interesting
How
to see how it
long did he
goes.
actually play with Morris, though?
He was there from 2020 to 10 to no 2019,
Oh, I
2020,
meant I meant as
2021,
DC.
22.
I meant as DC. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, but Morris was still in the
Yeah.
staff.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He
no,
was
he
DB
wasn't.
coach.
Yeah, he was the DB's coach in
Yeah. Yeah.
21
No,
and
I
22.
get what you're saying now.
Mhm.
Let's get to our
But
predictions,
I'm
boys.
just saying Jalen Ramsey. I was just saying
Oh yeah,
Jalen
I get what
Ramsey
you're saying.
literally he tweeted after Ramsey or that Morris got the job that he was the best coach he's ever worked with.
Wow.
Yeah, let's talk conference.
He's someone who very famously tells the truth.
Yeah. So let's talk conference championship weekend. Like we already talked
Yes.
about, or we talked about this in the group chat. Since Rob does have a chance to come back on me, I'll be picking before you every time.
Yeah.
The only question will be if Daniel or myself picks first. So we will be flipping a coin.
Ooh, mixing it up.
So for the A, actually, you know what? Instead of doing that, I'm an AFC fan. Down here, an NFC fan.
Oh, there we
I
go.
do AFC first. You do NFC first. Plus, it's the line. So, um, the Kansas City Chiefs going to Baltimore. Chiefs, 3.5 point dogs on the road going into ferocious M&T Bank Stadium. This will be the first time Taylor Swift has ever been to Baltimore. Um, she did not include on her tour for obvious
Racist.
reasons. Um, let's be real. It's a less than safe city. But anyways, point being, I'm also a hater, so it's not entirely fair. The Chiefs are playing some of their best football this season right now on the offensive side of the ball. And defensively, they did show some weaknesses against the Bills. That's for sure. The Bills offense was moving the ball pretty effectively. Still only scored 24 points though. That was in Buffalo as well. And the Chiefs are getting a little bit healthier on defense too. I think they're going to get Willie Gay back this week.
Mm,
Which helps for sure. The Ravens are playing really, really just overall sound football right now, though. It's really hard to pick against them, but it's also hard to pick against Mahomes in the playoffs, in the conference championship. Oh, and also, by the way, the Baltimore mayor committed the ultimate sin. He posted a video on Twitter goading the Chiefs, which, if y'all remember last year,
Burrowhead.
did not work out too well. So I don't know if the Ravens lose this game, but the Chiefs with the points, I'm gonna take them plus 3.5. If they lose by a field goal, that's fine. But I think the Chiefs will at least cover this.
Hmm. Daniel, after you.
All right. I think Ravens are going to win the game. Chiefs cover.
There you go.
I
Nice, quick, easy.
have last week I did say I like Chiefs with points whenever I see it, but here's the thing. I have insane PTSD from watching that same defense absolutely shut down our offense at the Natty in person. It's my non-flashbacks. I would have actually picked this if you didn't. If still, if you know, all things aside, I still would have picked this because I just think Baltimore's a wagon this year. That defense
Mhm.
too is so good, and I have PTSD from when we played them, week whatever.
Mhm. There you go. Yeah, that's true. That and I was gonna say that's gonna be more of a PTSD moment than anything. I've almost got reverse PTSD though, in the sense that I saw an offense be able to move the ball on Baltimore twice this season when the Bengals
Yep.
played them. But that's also division games are weird. So um all right. Well, now it's the late game, the NFC Championship, where America's team, the Detroit Lions, goes into the toxic liberal. Well, it's not in San
I was going
Francisco.
to
It's
call
Santa
them.
Clara.
I was going
They
to
go to
call them.
Silicon Valley,
I was going to call them the unsung franchise.
Young Sung franchise. They go into Santa Clara, so I can't make my Donald Trump joke there. Um,
God.
they're playing in the Bay Area though. Still, it's all the same. It's all the same. Anyways, the Lions are going to the 49ers. 49ers are favored by 7 in this game. Yeah, favored by 7. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got those lines right. Yep.
7. Jeez.
Um, Daniel, I don't know if you ever
Pick
foresaw
'em.
your team playing in an NFC championship, so by all
Make the
means,
pick.
you take the reins, my friend.
Dudes, I really want to win this game. I want to see my team go to a Super Bowl because a part of me feels like this could be the best season we have for a while. And I really, really want to see this team go to a Super Bowl. I'm going to be real with you, though, guys. I think we're going to get absolutely blown out. I think the Niners I'm gonna make a score prediction. Niners 34, Detroit 7. I think we're fucked. I honestly think we're
Wow.
fucked. And the reason I say we're fucked is not because Jared Goff's bad outdoors or whatever. It's gonna be pretty nice in Santa Clara. It's gonna be like 70s and sunny, I think.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
I just think the Lions and Niners play pretty similar styles of football, but the
Hmm.
Niners in comparison have a Pro Bowl roster. They're just so much more talented than we are. We work just as hard. I think we might even have a coaching advantage, pending Aaron Glenn, but Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson get the job done. So, I'm not too worried about that matchup. I just think in this case, player on player, maybe besides the O line against their D line, like their secondaries, it's not the best right now, but with their linebackers, man, they're gonna make life hell for some of our offensive attack. And the Lions on defense, forget about it, man. They're if Hutch doesn't get 10,000 sacks on Sunday, we're fucked. We are absolutely going to get Brock Purdy's going to look good. In turn, McCaffrey's going to look good. If Debo's healthy, he'll probably look fine. I don't think anyone's going to get like 200 receiving yards or anything this time because there's no like clear number one threat or whatever. But it's going to be a lot of distribution from the Niners. It's going to be a lot
Mm.
of like peak Niners offense against a really there's some talent on the Lions defense, but when I watch the Lions defense, Hutch carries that defense. We have some other good players, but he really carries the defense. If he doesn't get enough pressures or sacks, we struggle. Aaron Glenn is not a good enough play caller, not a good enough play designer on defense to make some of these players look better than they probably are. We're getting thumped, man. I really think we're going to get thumped. I hope they prove me wrong. I want to see us go to a Super Bowl. I'm going to be rooting like fucking hell for my team, but I think we're going to get absolutely butt fucked in this game. Like the Ravens Chiefs, that's going to be down to the wire. I think the Ravens might get like a Justin Tucker game winner kind of deal, but Niners Lions, forget about it. SF is going to roll to a Super Bowl. We will get Niners Ravens, and I will hate myself. That's my prediction, boys.
I'm going first. I don't agree that it's going to be a blowout. You know the line's better than I do. So if you think it's going to be a blowout, maybe I should just call that. But I do think the Niners win. I also think the Niners do cover. Um, on that front, I actually do think the Lions offense will be able to move the ball against this 49ers defense. My concern is, as we've talked about many times, that Lions secondary. I mean, Niners are probably gonna be able to throw the ball all over you at will. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, if he plays.
You shit. There you go. Point
I mean,
proven.
I don't see how they're gonna have the horses to cover those guys. And the funny thing is, they've got talent in the secondary. It's just like it's not being utilized well, I guess. It's
Talking about the line secondary.
the line secondary, yeah.
Yeah, to give you some context, Cam Sutton is our only good corner, and because of that,
Hmm.
he's always left on an island now the last few games. So he gets burned because of the fact that he's on an island and he gets
Hmm.
no help. Our safeties are okay, like CJ is fine, Kirby's fine. But the thing with Kirby though, if he's not getting picks, he's kind of a little inconsistent. I think he'll get better. It's just not going to be
Yeah.
this game. Tracy Walker
So,
is just getting. I honestly, I think Tracy Walker is going to get more washed, man. He
hmm
he gets injured a lot year to year, and he's getting older. He was
hmm
a great player for us, though. A few
I
years.
do think there's one thing that I actually do. I like that the Lions up front offensively will be able to deal with the Niners. D line, they're probably one of
First
the few
team
teams that
all
can.
season. That's
Uh,
other than the Ravens probably. That's done that. They can do that to them.
also kind of the Bengals, but that was when we were peaking. I miss those
That
days.
was a very weird game
I
because
miss late
that was
October,
no
early
Trent Williams
November.
too.
Yeah, there's no Trent Williams. That's true. I miss late October, early November Bengals football. Anyways, yeah, but again, it's just like on offense, I think the Lions will be able to put up points, but then it becomes like, do I think they'll be able to keep up with San Francisco when I think San Francisco's going to be able to basically score at will?
Hmm.
So I think the line, I don't know if it's a blowout, but Niners probably win by like, I think this might end up kind of looking like the Texans Ravens game or what you predicted the Texans Ravens to be, where I could see this game being like 17-10 at halftime, but then like final score 35-17, something like that. So yeah, give me the Niners to cover.
I Here's some interesting things I have to think about. I agree that this is the best O-line that the Niners will have faced all year. I think that's going to make things interesting. Whoa. Okay,
Hey,
I
hey,
will do it. Yeah.
okay, fine. I'll let you have the
Don't spoil my moment. Um, One thing that worries me is Goff has a bad record against the Niners. It was NFC West rock, paper, scissors for a long time because it was Seahawks beat the Niners beat the Rams beat the Seahawks. And like any San Francisco player, fan, front office person will tell you Russ was their boogeyman. I think he lost to them like once or twice his entire career. Yeah, I think he lost to the Niners twice as a Seahawk. It was pretty crazy.
he beat him
But
as a Bronco, which is crazy.
he's their
Because
boogeyman.
he did not beat a lot of people as a Bronco.
No, he did not. Um, I think not having played earlier, I think that favors the Lions. I think it does. It leaves them for the element of surprise. Matchup I'm a little bit worried about is the defensive interior of the Lions versus the Niners O-line. That's a weaker spot. But fuck it. America's team, baby. 7 points, I'll take it in a playoff game.
Well, you
Yeah.
kind of have to, because if you get it right, you'll catch up.
I know, that's the whole point.
You
Yeah.
need the dissenting. He needs the dissenting votes. So there you go. Well, hey, I'm following. You know what? Last week, you and Daniel were unanimous, and 2-2, not bad. This week, me and Daniel are unanimous.
Uh-oh.
With Rob dissenting. So, but you know what? If you win, you're in a if you get both these right, you're in a very, very good spot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You'd be in the lead after going 3-3 in the wild card round. You'd be in the lead. Be kind of crazy. So,
Would I
and
be in
you'd
the
again
lead?
be in a position to
I
yeah
think I'd
you
be
or
tied
you'd
with
be no
Daniel.
you'd be tied. You'd be tied with
Yeah.
Daniel, and you'd be in a position with the Super Bowl if
Mm.
you end up dissenting with Daniel to win.
Very
So,
fun. Very fun.
or you could ultimately fall out completely. And actually, now I think about it, yeah, Daniel, if you even get if Rob gets even one game wrong,
You
you
clinch.
clinch the playoff. You clinch the playoff championship regardless what happens in the Super Bowl.
Attaboy.
So, um, yeah, that's it, guys. Those are the last games we'll talk about until Super Bowl. What we're gonna be talking about on Pro Bowl week.
Pro Bowl, of course.
The Pro Bowl. We're gonna make our Pro Bowl picks.
I still can win. Let's go. NFC
There
all
it
the
is.
way.
Next year's MVP.
Oh, yeah, we have some. Oh, that is something we could do. We could do the awards predictions.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
we
good
could do
idea.
that. Okay. Um, that's it. Anything else to talk about in the West Coast Draft podcast this edition?
Go Lions, baby.
Go
Please prove me
Lions.
wrong. I really want to be wrong with this pick.
Go
Oh,
Lions.
I want to be right with the first one and wrong with the second one. So, and
Hmm.
that would still clinch me a victory in the season series. So I'd be okay with that. So, all right.
I'm
That's
just
it
happy I didn't
then.
have to pick the Niners. Happy
That's
about
true.
that.
That's true. You did not. You did not. That's it then, boys. That's it for the West Coast Draft Podcast. It was a fun episode. It was a great episode. Tune in next week. As always, it's a fun one. I like tonight's episode. Next week, the Seahawks might have a new coach. So maybe Rob will have a rant prepared, or maybe he'll have celebration prepared. Maybe he'll be popping the champagne bottles. I guess we'll find
Ooh,
out.
maybe.
But well, there you go. Rob, do you have anything you want to tell the fine folks at home?
One of us is stuck on the coach's carousel. All of us are stuck on the coach's carousel. One of us click like, all of us click like. One of us subscribe, all of us subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. Oh, and Dion got 11 minor NCAA violations today.
I did see
So,
that.
yeah.
If one of us gets a minor NCAA violation, we all get 11.
If one of us fights the NCAA against obvious violations, we all fight the NCAA.
It's obvious violation. Shout out Jim Harbaugh. Shout out Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh. Pulling a Pete Carroll. We love it.